Alright, so this thing has been making that noise for months. And I honestly was just too busy to worry about it. I kind of figured it was something simple. And initially I thought it was either lamp or cooling fan. So I would say 2 months ago I replaced the lamp. Real easy to do. You can buy just the lamp and not the whole housing for a lot cheaper. It was like 30-40 bucks, something like that. And I had about a week of full brightness and the noise was still there. So it wasn't the lamp, and I was really disappointed about the brightness. And initially I thought the lamp was crap because, just probably just a cheap Chinese knockoff somehow or other. So about 2 weeks ago I tore it apart further to really investigate what was going on, and I did find the problem, and it was the color wheel. I was able to feed, I think I fed 9-volt DC to the cooling fan and found that it ran fine and quiet. And I already found out that it wasn't the lamp. So another thought that I had was maybe it was a power supply, like maybe the caps were going bad in it and somehow it was making some kind of vibration, or maybe it had its own cooling fan that I just didn't know about, and it doesn't. And the caps were fine, and if I remember right, they were good brand too, but nothing looked domed or vented or anything. So that's when I really realized that this is a DLP projector, so it has a color wheel and it spins. Let's take it apart and take a look. Alright, teardown is pretty easy. I don't think we actually need to remove the lamp, so we can just go straight for the 6 screws. So the top just pops off. There's a few tabs on the quick release tabs on the sides, and then you want to flip it. You'll see your ribbon cable here. Probably, I would say, easiest to just remove this PCB and disconnect that right there. Grab a number 1, smaller screws. You can remove the ribbon if you want to. It's not that difficult. That is a little bit easier. Alright, so cooling fan, power supply is back in here. You can see the giant caps down in there. The few that I can see are all Rubicon. So very, very, very good caps. And lamp, cooling fan, and then our color wheels right here. Well, initially I thought we could get the color wheel housing out without taking all the lamp out, but I don't actually think that's the case now. So I am going to remove the lamp. And then we're going to remove the housing, so I'm going to take all these connectors off. And the one for the lamp is a little bit tricky. It's mostly about trying to unclick it. Put a little bit of pressure on it, like so. Okay, and there's a few screws holding lamp housing to the projector case. Plastic's getting pretty brittle down in there. So it looks like the housing bolts did not need to come off to get it out, but they do need to come out to get the color wheel out. And you would think that would come out of there just fine. without removing all of this, but I just didn't want to. So there's the color wheel. I have a new one. That was about 50, 60 bucks shipped from the US. If that's some kind of special cleaning cloth, that's pretty cool. Changing it's fairly easy. It's just 3 smallish screws on the back here. Yeah, I bet that cloth is for cleaning the actual glass of the color wheel. Makes sense. Or if we're trying to not touch it in the first place, maybe. So we got a feeder ribbon cable. Looks like contacts out like that. Kind of feels like that green tape is very much keeping me from mounting that properly. And just needs a little more force. Yeah, finger tight. I already see some smudges on there, and I didn't touch it, so it must not be from me. My color wheel was in really bad shape. You can kind of see it if I put the light just right. Wow, look at that. Mine does not turn as easy. There's that big glob on there. I wonder if that's what maybe got it off balance somehow. Don't know what it is or how it got there. But anyway, it had a lot of corrosion on the glass itself. Like up in here. It's easy to tell in person. But it was much, much worse when I first pulled it out. And I was actually using bits of magic eraser to try to buff it off of there. You know, I knew it was bad and I wasn't really worried about hurting, you know, if I was going to rub off the color tinting of it or whatever. But man, did it make a difference. I mean, you couldn't, like that clear part, you couldn't even see through that. It was just, I don't know if it was just burnt on dust, because that's the only thing I could think could even be in there. I mean, I'm sure this thing gets really hot because the light goes right at it from the lamp, and it's just a hot area, but the only other thing in there is dust, right? So I thought that's what it was, and it didn't clean off with just cleaner and a Q-tip either, so I went after it, and that's when I got, and I had like 2 or 3 days of full brightness again, and it looked amazing, but the noise didn't go away, and I knew it was because, you know, I could play with this thing and move it, and it just didn't sound right. I don't know if I ever got it to run. No, I don't think I ever got it to run, but we're just applying voltage to it, but I knew this was the problem. Because I think I ended up powering it up without the fan on, and I knew it wasn't the fan anyway because I could actually make the fan run by applying 9 volts to it, and it ran quiet. So hopefully This will permanently solve my noise issue. Like I said, I don't think it really mattered if these were screwed down. It'd been nice if we could have done this without having to pull the whole housing out. Oh, the lamp housing, the crystal right here also super fogged up. And I did the same thing in it with a magic eraser, and it's still, if I could get the light just right, you might be able to see. It's just got, I don't know, some kind of surface corrosion somehow. That's a pretty good view of it. You can kind of see it. It should be clear as a bell, and it's just not. But I think it was just on the outside. I don't think the inside was really in bad shape. So, installation, reverse, and removal, right? Yeah, the other thing is there's a light sensor on this PCB right here that's also in the color wheel housing. Might be worth taking a look at. Keep it clean. You know, these mount screws over here are useless. The plastic is just gone around those areas. Only these 4 screws over here are the fine thread. Everything else is the coarse, the short coarse thread screws. Looks like it's the same ones as PCB that mounts to the top half of the case as well. So yeah, I got 4 of those left over. Yeah, the tricky one is this lamp connector. You can get it started, you can just push it right back on. There we go. There, that wasn't so bad. Make sure zoom knob is in the right place. Goes on that right there. You want to make sure that part is lined up with it. Looks right. That is much more like it. Still some noise, but nothing like it was. So yeah, easy fix. Hope you enjoyed it.